What if I told you that a single construction project could wipe £700 million off the taxpayer bill, turn 62,000 passionate fans into silent spectators, and transform one of England's most feared football fortresses into a library that echoes with emptiness? Sound impossible. Welcome to the London Stadium, where West Ham's deal of the century became English football's most expensive funeral. But that's just the beginning. Over the past 3 decades, stadium expansion dreams have become graveyards for English clubs, swallowing over £1 billion in catastrophic failures that didn't just bankrupt teams, they destroyed their very souls. Today, we're exposing 5 stadium disasters so brutal they nearly killed their clubs. From chairmen facing jail time to retractable roofs that never moved an inch, these concrete catastrophes prove one thing. In English football, the most dangerous thing isn't relegation, it's ambition. West Ham's Olympic nightmare. Let's kick off with what might be the most expensive stadium disaster in football history. When West Ham announced their move from the beloved Boleyn Ground to London's Olympic Stadium, Vice Chair Karen Brady triumphantly called it the deal of the century. But 8 years later, it's become English football's most expensive lesson in why you can't force a square peg into a round hole. The problem started with basic physics. The Olympic Stadium was engineered for athletics, designed around a 400-meter running track with temporary upper tiers that could be removed after the games. West Ham wanted to squeeze 62,500 football fans into a venue built for completely different purposes. The result? An engineering nightmare that's still haunting them today. Here's where it gets absurd. Every time they need to convert between football and athletics, engineers deploy a massive movable seating system involving air skates, industrial forklifts, and cranes. It's like performing open-heart surgery every few weeks, except the patient keeps getting sicker. The financial carnage is staggering. The original Olympic Stadium cost £429 million to build. Converting it for West Ham, another £323 million, bringing the total to £752 million, enough to fund 3 new Premier League stadiums from scratch. And here's the kicker. West Ham contributed just £15 million toward conversion costs, while taxpayers got hammered with the rest. But the real tragedy isn't financial, it's atmospheric. The Boleyn Ground's 35,000 capacity created one of the most feared environments in English football. The London Stadium holds nearly double that number, but feels dead even when packed. The running track creates a moat between fans and players, killing the intimacy that made West Ham matches special. Recent financial reports reveal the stadium is projected to lose £232 million over the coming years, mainly due to those constant conversion costs. The venue is literally valued at zero in corporate accounts because West Ham's lease deal is so favorable that no other company would pay anything to buy it. Coventry City's retractable roof fantasy. In the late 1990s, Coventry City chairman Brian Richardson dreamed bigger than any football executive had dared before. His vision? A 45,000-seat arena featuring a retractable roof and sliding pitch that could transform into a concert venue. Richardson wasn't just thinking Premier League, he was positioning Coventry as a candidate for England's new national stadium. The engineering ambition was mind-blowing. We're talking about technology similar to what cost Tottenham over £1 billion for their sliding pitch system, or the retractable roof systems that run into the hundreds of millions. Coventry was essentially trying to build a space-age stadium while fighting relegation battles. Then, reality struck with surgical precision. In May 2001, just months before their futuristic stadium was supposed to open, Coventry got relegated from the Premier League. The financial foundations crumbled overnight. Contractors and financiers fled faster than fans, leaving a 5-0 defeat, and England's failed World Cup bid delivered the final blow. What actually opened in 2005 was a shadow of Richardson's dreams, a basic 32,500-seat bowl for £113 million. No retractable roof, no sliding pitch, just empty seats and broken promises. The Ryco Arena became a concrete monument to miscalculated ambition. During their worst seasons, average crowds crashed to just 10,948, barely 1/3 of capacity. Even in recent years, with improved attendance around 27,000, over 5,000 seats remain empty on average, making the stadium look perpetually half full on television. But the real disaster was psychological. For over a decade, Coventry endured bitter ownership disputes that forced them into exile twice, first playing home games in Northampton, then Birmingham. These forced relocations, triggered by financial disputes over their oversized stadium, completely severed the emotional connection between club and community. The stadium that was supposed to make Coventry a national powerhouse instead made them homeless wanderers in their own sport. The Sixfield Scandal. David Cardoza's name should be taught in business schools as a masterclass in how stadium ambition can cross the line into criminality. In 2013, the Northampton town chairman unveiled plans to expand Sixfield Stadium from 7,800 to 10,000 seats, promising executive boxes, conference facilities, and hotel complex that would generate championship-level revenues. Construction began in summer 2014 with great fanfare. By October, work had stopped due to contractual disputes. For the next 8 years, Northampton Town fans were forced to stare at a rusting steel skeleton during every home match. The half-built East Stand became the most visible symbol of failure in English football, appearing on television broadcasts like a concrete scarlet letter. But this wasn't just poor planning, it was allegedly straight-up theft. A £10.25 million loan from Northampton Borough Council, earmarked solely for stadium development, simply vanished. Police launched Operation Tuckle, one of the most extensive financial investigations in football history, gathering over 1,000 witness statements. In January 2025, the criminal charges finally landed. Cardoza, along with his father and 3 associates, face conspiracy to commit fraud charges related to the missing millions. The allegations include false representations to the council and money laundering schemes that diverted public funds for personal benefit. Here's the ultimate irony. When the East Stand finally opened in 2025, Northampton's average attendance was just 6,568 fans. The original capacity of 7,800 would have been perfectly adequate, meaning the entire scandal was unnecessary from day one. This wasn't just financial engineering gone wrong, it was criminal conduct that left taxpayers holding a multi-million-pound bill while a football club suffered through nearly a decade of public humiliation. Boldham Athletics Corporate Delusion. Simon Corney arrived at Oldham Athletic in 2004 with Wall Street credentials and Silicon Valley-sized delusions. The New York telecoms mogul looked at tiny Boundary Park and saw untapped potential. His vision: transform their ground into a £20 million conference, an events center where corporate hospitality would bankroll a return to the championship. Corney's North Stand project promised 2,600 seats, a 500-capacity conference venue, executive boxes, and commercial facilities. The fatal flaw in his business plan? If your town struggles to fill a Premier Inn, it probably doesn't need a stadium conference center. The execution was a masterclass in Murphy's Law. Construction delays plagued the project from day one. Cash flow problems left paying fans sitting in an unfinished concrete shell for years. There was even a fire during construction that damaged 40 meters of roofing because apparently the project wasn't cursed enough already. By 2015, Corney was forced into a public apology to season ticket holders, essentially admitting his corporate dreams had become a nightmare. The stand was eventually shut down for safety repairs in 2021, and even today, sections of Boundary Park remain closed because operating costs exceed revenue potential. The financial devastation was brutal. Oldham's average attendance in recent seasons, just 6,083 fans rattling around in a 13,513 capacity stadium. Corney's hospitality empire was designed for a business market that simply didn't exist in Oldham, a classic case of metropolitan thinking colliding with small-town reality. The club that was supposed to benefit from conference revenues instead found itself trapped by the debt and maintenance costs of facilities nobody wanted to use. Rather than bankrolling promotion, the project accelerated Oldham's decline all the way into non-league football. Portsmouth's £600 million stadium nightmare. Portsmouth's abandoned stadium plans represent perhaps the most heartbreaking what-if story in English football. In 2007, with Russian oligarch Alexandra Gaidamak's backing, Portsmouth unveiled plans for a £600 million ship-shaped stadium that would have revolutionized English football architecture. The project was genuinely spectacular. Designed by Herzog and de Meuron, the architects behind Munich's Allianz Arena and Beijing's Bird's Nest Stadium, the 36,000-seat venue would rise from reclaimed harbor land next to Portsmouth's famous naval base. The ship-like design wasn't just aesthetic, it was a love letter to the city's maritime heritage. The regeneration plans were equally ambitious: 1,500 new apartments, restaurants, cafes, and leisure facilities that would transform Portsmouth's waterfront. Meanwhile, demolishing historic Fratton Park would create space for another 750 homes. Work was scheduled to begin in 2008, with completion by 2011. The rendered images were breathtaking, a futuristic venue that would have instantly become one of world football's most iconic stadiums. But within 18 months, the 2008 financial crisis had turned dreams into dust. Gaidamak sold Portsmouth to Suleiman Al Fahim, triggering a cascade of ownership changes that left the club fighting for survival. Reckless spending and spiraling debts exceeding £105 million pushed Portsmouth into administration in 2010, costing them 9 points and Premier League status. By 2011, the year they were supposed to move into their maritime masterpiece, Portsmouth found themselves relegated to the Championship. 3 years later, they were in League Two, where they remained for 4 years. Today, Portsmouth are finally climbing back through the divisions, but they're still at 125-year-old Fratton Park. The ship-shaped stadium remains forever trapped in architectural renderings, a reminder of what English football lost when ambition collided with financial reality. These were stadiums that promised glory, but delivered chaos. Proof that in football, the wrong stadium move can destroy more than just balance sheets. It can destroy clubs. What's the most pointless stadium disaster you've witnessed? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories from the world of football.